Son pronta a te.
Hi everyone and welcome back to the Academy of Bel Canto and the Mystery Bel Canto podcast. As always, my name is Joseph Cianciulli. I am the host of the Mystery Bel Canto podcast and I am the founder of the Academy of Bel Canto. So we are talking today about vibrato. So vibrato is the oscillation of the sound. For many singers, they are manipulating vibrato, and while this may kind of conflict with what you've been told in the past, this is from my experience within the Bel Canto lineages. So vibrato, like appoggiare, is a byproduct of a free sound. It's something that happens naturally when the sound is free. It's not something that is manipulated, okay, within Bel Canto. So yes, it can be manipulated, yes. There is a way of narrowing the pharynx, which quickens the vibrato, but a lot of what people hear in older singers, not Bel Canto singers, but singers of today with either the bleat or what's more common as a wobble, is a product or a byproduct of years and years of muscling. Now, as we will talk about in the future with limiting beliefs, this does not mean that that is always going to be their sound. They can bring the sound back to a stable connection. It gets harder depending on how long you've been singing with the muscle, but we always need to remember, especially teachers, that when you are hearing vibrato in the student, you don't want to encourage a manipulation of the vibrato. Now, you can bring attention if you hear the singer leading with vibrato, which also oftentimes happens, but you do not want them to be manipulating the vibrato. You shouldn't be talking about, oh, it's too quick or it's too slow. Now, one thing that people have said, and I had the same question when I was in studio with Dan, was why is the vibrato of the older singers, De Lucia, Alessandro Vonci, young Lauri Volpi, why is the vibrato so quick? And I remember at that time saying, it's like a bleat. And he said, no, it is not a bleat. What you have to understand is that when the connection is very, very fine, a reflection of years and years of study with a Bel Canto maestro. After years and years of study, when the student emerged from studio, because of how close the connection had been, or the focus of the connection, the release was very, very quick. And over time, the vibrato learned to settle. So if you listen to like early Gigli, you hear a quicker vibrato than later Gigli. And that's because the vibrato eventually evened out through years and years of singing with the same release. As the fold started to thicken, more sound started to come through, the vibrato settled a little bit. It was still quick, but it was not as quick as when they came out of studio. So I'm going to sing Povero Ernesto, just the first part or a little part of this, and listen to the vibrato. You should be leading with squillo and not with vibrato. So you shouldn't be going yeah, it's a quick vibrato, but there's a hollowness to the sound. Yeah, you're backing off the sound because the squillo cannot move through. You lead with the squillo, and when there is freedom in the sound, you will hear that the sound releases and the vibrato shows through. So yes, so you don't leave with vibrato. You allow the vibrato to release. You allow release, but in the process of allowing the sound to release, the vibrato will release, and you'll hear it, kind of a lively vibrato. So this has been your introduction to vibrato. The biggest takeaway for my teachers that I want you to walk away from this little mini lecture is essentially that vibrato, like appoggiare, is a byproduct of a free sound. It is not something that should be focused on by the singer. It's not something that you should draw attention to unless you think it would benefit them. But you should not be leading with vibrato, and the vibrato or the oscillation should not be an indicator of opera. Okay, just because singers release in a very specific way with squillo leading body, and the byproduct is a freer sound that can lead to a quickened vibrato, doesn't mean that that is opera. Because when you listen to the older singers, when you just rely on squillo, you'll hear that the vibrato isn't all the time. It's not no, it's not ever present. Yeah, it's allowed. You hear, recordings of Gigli and Tagliavini. The sound will be allowed to release more depending on how long you're releasing the sound. This is why Dan said there's not always enough time in most arias, to fully release the sound to a full sound, to allow it to blossom and fill the room. This is just a fact of singing in bel canto. So this has been your introduction to vibrato. If you have any questions, as always, reach out to us on our website, academyofbelcanto.com. Of course, we have our courses, our books, our workshops, and our private lessons there. And you could always email us at vocalmastery1@gmail.com.